Good evening. In previous session, we have seen the concept of object-oriented programming basics. So now, once I will tell you once again about those basics so that we can go to next concepts. So in previous session, we have seen what is meant by a class, what is meant by an object, and what is the use of this object-oriented programming, how these objects will be there. Okay. Now let us see about a class. So everything, first point we have to remember is what? Everything or everything in Python is an object. So that what we have to understand, we should know about what is meant by an object. So if you are knowing about the object, we should understand what is meant by a class, because without class there is no object. So first let us see what is meant by a class. So already I have given you a brief examples for this class and object. Once again, I'm going to give you the examples. So for example, if I'm going to consider a human is a class. If I call anyone is a human being, that means what? That means I'm talking only about persons, male and female. So that a human being, it is going to contain what? Two legs, two hands, two eyes, one nose, and so on. These are the properties, or we can say these are the attributes of our human being class. So next, what he can do, that means what this human being can do can be written inside a methods. That is called as what? Methods we can have. So for that, we are going for what person can do, human being can do. He can talk. Okay. Next, he can sleep, he can walk, he can run, and so on. Okay, so this is one class. Okay, so this is not in physical existence, this is only a class which is having some properties. If let us consider one human being, for example. So this is a human being. So human being will have what? All these properties. If I say this one as a human being, for example, Hari, if I say Hari as a human being, he will have what? He will have two legs, two hands, and also so on. Okay, and also you will have what? Methods. He can perform these methods. That means how I can say this Hari as a human being means he is having all the properties of human being, so that I can call this Hari as a human being. Otherwise, how this Hari is going to be created? By using this human being. So this Hari is created with the help of this human being. So this is a class and this is an object. So this Hari is existed physically, but this class is not existed physically. Whenever we are going to create this class, internally memory will not be created for the variables. Whenever we are going to create an object, a space will be created for that object. So by using these objects, I can access this data or these methods. So compulsory class should be there, and by using this class, I can create an objects, and by creating that objects, I can access those data or methods. This is the concept we have seen in previous session. Okay. Now, what is meant by a class? Let us see. So what is meant by class? Class is a blueprint for an object. 1 minute. Blueprint for an object. Blueprint for an object. That means for creating an object, we require what? We require a class. So class is going to act as a blueprint for the object. Next. So next, one important point I have to discuss, that is what? Class is a user defined data type. Class is user defined data type. What is meant by user defined data type? User defined data type is nothing but, for example, if I am going to write a equal to 10, so a is which type? A is int type. B equal to 10.5, I am going to write. B is which type? B is float type. And C equal to, I am going to write 10 plus 20j, for example. So C is going to act as what? Complex type. That means All these are what inbuilt data types. Now why I'm saying class as a user defined data type means, so when I'm going to write a equal to 10, internally some space will be allocated for 10 of type, which type it is? Int type. Okay, so here we have to uh, this a is what? This a is an object that is going to point to 10 of int type. So here how it is going to act is user defined data type means I can define, for example, class student is there. So student should contain what? For example, a roll number, name, name, age, and so on. He may contain different things. Okay, so here who is going to create this one? User is going to create this one by using what? A keyword called as class. So whenever I require an integer type, I will go to default data type, that is int. So when I write a equal to 10, by default it is going to create what? It is going to create a memory location for this 10, and it is pointing by a, and it is which type of object? It is int type of object. But if I want to create a new type of object which is not present till now, then I have to go for a class. So if I are going to create a class, then whatever the definition you want for that particular class, you can write here. So when I am going to write a object called as s here, I want to tell this one as a student type. So I will write here s equal to, 1 minute, s equal to student, and I'm going to write open bracket and close bracket. Now s is an object of student type if I write in this way. Okay, so now from now onwards, s can store what? S can store roll number, s can store name, s can store age. Who created this one? A user has created this one, these properties. But int, who has created int? I have not created the int. It is by default, it is available anyway by using any. It is also a class. Okay, it is also int is also a class. And here if you want to define user defined data type, if you want to define it separately, you can also define by using a class keyword. Okay, this is about a class. Next, what is about object? What about object? So object is instance of a class. For example, I am going to take fruit. So if I show you an apple, you will call it as a what? Fruit. If I show you an orange, it is a fruit. If you are showing a grapes, it is a fruit, and so on. Why you are calling all these as fruits? Because whatever the properties or whatever the attributes that are available for the fruit is present in apple. So I can say apple is a fruit. Orange, how I can call this orange as a fruit? Because all the properties of fruit are available in orange. So orange is considered as fruit. In this instance, if I consider grapes, so it is also having the properties of fruit. Okay, that is nothing but what? Shape. Next one is taste, color, and so on. There are many properties. All these properties are available for these three objects. I can call these three as objects because fruit is not existed. Fruit means what? It is having some properties. If that properties are available for anything, that is called as a fruit object. So all the properties of this fruit is available for apple. So I am calling apple as a fruit. Okay, so all the properties of this fruit is available with for orange. So orange is called as a fruit. If the properties of fruit is not available for orange, for example, it is not called as a fruit. Okay, so I can call what? Fruits can be any number. By using this class, I can create any number of objects. Okay, but at any instance, this is what? This is a this is one object, this is second object, this is third object, and so on. So object is created with the help of what? Classes. So if I want to define a class, sorry, if I want to define an object with a class, I can define as instance of a class. This is instance of a class, this is instance of a class, this is also instance of a class. Otherwise we can call them as an objects. So instances are nothing but objects. Instance of a class is nothing but an object. So we can interchange these words, instances or objects. Okay, that means what? We can call objects as a instances or instances as a object. Both are same. Next, so what a class will contain? Class will contain mainly two things. One is data, another one is methods. These two are very important. Okay, so these methods contain what? Methods contain action to perform. That is nothing but what? Group of statements. Okay, it is nothing but action. Data is what? To perform this action, we require some data. Let us consider the method name is addition. Method name is addition, for example. So for performing this addition, I require data. For example, A and B. So here I am going to give what? Data in that class and also method in that class. So to execute this method, we are going to use A and B. So these two are present inside a class. Class A, for example, this is a, sorry, there will be no brackets here, right? Class A, I am having what? A and B, and these two A and B are used inside a addition method. Then what is a method? So method is nothing but a function. Already we know about functions. Method is a function in a class. Method is a function in a class. That is nothing but if you are going to write a function inside a class, it is called as a method. Okay. So already in previous session, we have seen some of the examples for this one. And also for every class, it is better to write a docstring. Already I told you that docstring is what? Let us take class A here. Okay, here something description about that class I am going to write, or otherwise I can say documentation of that string. I can write here. Okay, documentation of that particular class I am going to write here. It is nothing but explanation of that particular class. And here you are going to write some data, and here you are going to write some methods. So if I want to see this docstring, I can use a variable called as underscore underscore doc. This is a variable I can use. This is which class? A class. So if I want to see a documentation string of A class, I can write A dot underscore underscore doc underscore underscore. Otherwise, if you want to see everything inside a class, what are the content that is present inside a class, if you want to see about that, write down help of A. So if you write this one, you can see the description of the class, and also you can see the content of the class also. For example, I will show you one class. I will take a string class. Already we are having a class called a string. Okay, just I will take that class. The name of the class is what? String. I know that. So str, help of str, I will write here. Help of str. So now observe here, it is going to give me 395 lines here. So if I double click on this one, it will give me entire lines. So see, it is started the definition here. So it is having what? String object is there here. Next, something is here, and here we are having some methods and so on. Mainly what here we have to understand, if you write help of any class, it is going to give you everything about that particular class. Now let us take str dot underscore underscore doc. Okay, see, it is going to give you something about that particular class. Okay, so this is the concept of underscore underscore doc underscore underscore, and also about help method, help function. Okay, right. Now let us see about variables in our Python. That is what already we have seen. What are the variables in our functions we have in our Python? We have already seen, but now I want to consider variables inside a class. Which type of variables can be present within a class? First one is three types of variables we can have. First one is instance variables. Second one is static variables. Okay, and third one is local variables. So because mainly we have to understand about variables and methods first. Later we can go to the concept, because by using these things only we are going to perform any operation in our by our objects. So instance variables, static variables, and local variables we are having, we can write inside a class. And also in the same way, if you are going to consider a methods, we are having instance methods, we are having static methods. Instead of local methods, we are having here, we are going to consider what? Local variables. So we are having what? Class methods we are having, class methods we are having. Here what? Static methods we are having, we can have in our class. And also we can have what? Instance methods. So these are the three types of methods and three types of variables we can use in our class. Okay, right. Now, so this is a briefly about our methods and variables. Now I want to show you about how a class will be there and how an object has to be created and how the content of a class can be taken by used by our object. Just I will take a small program here, just a class, small class I will take. Class student I have taken here. Here I have to define one special method called as underscore underscore init. This is generally called as an constructor. It is called as a constructor. So after completing the basics, I will go to the concept of constructor only, self and constructor. So here I am going to write self dot a equal to 20. I am going to write self dot b equal to 30. I am going to write these two things. I am going to write. So whenever I am going to create an object, so how to create an object? First I have to write a reference variable. So what is meant by reference variable? I will explain now. So reference variable is nothing but when you are going to write a equal to 10. Here what happens? Here 10 we are going to get, and here we are having a. That means this a is pointing to this 10. That means if I want to access this 10 value, we have to access it what? This a. So this is a reference for this 10. In the same way, if you want to create a student object, I have to write what? Student in this way. And I'm going to write in this way, s will become as a reference variable. And why it is called as a reference variable? Because an object is created here and it is referring by, it can be referred by this s. So this is called as reference variable. This is called as reference variable, but generally we will not use this one as a reference variable, just we'll call it as an object because it is pointing to this one. If I call a, the value of a is what? 10. So directly can I call it as a 10? A is nothing but a 10. Okay. In the same way, s is pointing to an object, so that it is called as what? It is referring to an object. So it is called as reference variable. Otherwise, if I call object, it is nothing but s only because s is pointing to object. Right. Now, just I am going to show you how to create an object. Reference variable equal to, here I am going to write what? Student. Now student object is created. Okay. Now I want to access, otherwise I want to refer the object, that is nothing but a student object. Here I am having what? A equal to 20, b equal to 30. This data is there. How it is going to be present in that particular object? Reason is, whenever an object is created, a constructor will be called, and these two values are going to be placed inside an object. Okay, right. Now just I will print how I can refer that particular object by using a s, because it is a reference variable, s dot a, and just I want to print what? I want to print b also, and b value I want to print s dot b. So if I execute this program, we are going to get output as 20 and 30. So here why 20 and 30? Because s is going to contain a, s is going to contain b. A value, s dot a value is what? 30. S dot b value is what? Sorry, s dot a value is 20, s dot b value is 30. So those two values are printed. Right. This is about how to create a class, how to create an object, and how to refer to the objects, or we can say how to access the members of a variables. I have briefly explained in previous session. So now we are going to a new concept. There's nothing but as previous session I have discussed up to here. Now I want to discuss about a self keyword. Here I have used self. I want to explain what is meant by this self now. So now observe here, whenever I am going to create an object, here I am having one object, otherwise I will say one small class. Here a class is there. In this class I am having a constructor define underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Here I am going to write self. Not only here, we will use self inside the methods also. So here self, why I am going to write, I will explain now. So here I'm going to initialize some values like self dot a equal to 20, self dot b equal to 30. I am going to write here. So this is a class called as student. When I am going to create an object of type student, for example, s1 equal to student, I am going to write. So whenever you are going to write this statement, internally what happens means s1 is what? A reference variable which is pointing to an object. Which type of object it is? Student object. So student object will be created. That means what? A space will be created for of student type. Student type means what? In student, what is there? Some constructor is there. So it is referring by what? S1. So whenever it is created, this constructor will be called. Whenever this constructor is called, self dot a. Self means who is calling this constructor? S1 is calling. So self is nothing but what now? S1. If I want to talk about, if let us consider here one interview room is there. Here this is interview room. One student came to the interview. Okay, so what he will first, how he is going to introduce himself? Myself. He will say what? Myself, for example. That means what? Here self is nothing but he is going to tell about himself or herself. For example, his name is Ramu. So now self means what? Ramu. Because here myself means Ramu. Whenever some other person comes here, if he is telling myself, his name is Sita, for example. So she says myself. Here self is what? Sita. That means at current position at any particular time. That means what? We can say a current object is nothing but a self. Now by on creating whom, I call this particular constructor. On creating s1, the constructor is called. So the self is nothing but s1. So now what happens here? S1 dot a equal to 20. So in s1 I am placing a equal to 20. In s1 b equal to 30. So it is going to place as what? B equal to 30. Completed. Now I am going to create a second object, s2 equal to student. Now what happens? One object is created. Which type of object? Student type of object. And it is referred by what? S2, because it is a reference variable for this object. Now observe that while creating this one, automatically this constructor will be called. Now on constructing whom, this constructor is called S2. On constructing S2 object, this is called. Now from now, at this particular time, self is going to be what? S2. Why it is S2? On creating S2, the constructor is called. Self means this S2 is going to act as a self now. Before what happens? When this is going to be created, at that time the constructor is called. At that time S1 is going to act as a what? Self. That means what? Now current object is S2. So self is S2. Before S1 is a current object. So self becomes what? S1. Okay. So now self dot a equal to 20. That means self is what? S2. This is nothing but what? S2 dot a equal to 20. So here a equal to 20. Next self dot b is nothing but what? S2 dot b equal to 30. So here b equal to 30. Now here what we have to understand? Self means it is going to refer to a current object. It is going to refer to a current object. If you are talking about this object and we are calling this one, then self is S1. We are not talking about this one, we are talking about S2. Now self will act as what? S2. Okay, this is about a self. So why, what is meant by self? Means we can write it, self points to current object. Okay, or we can say self refers to current object. Now is it compulsory to have inside a constructor as a parameter? So is it compulsory to have a self as a parameter to a constructor? Is it compulsory? So compulsory, we should have self as a parameter for a constructor. Otherwise we can say that at least one parameter should be there for a constructor. Okay, we will talk it later. We will talk about after completing the self, we will talk about it. Now I want to talk only about this self. So self is what now? Self is a first thing, it is a variable. Okay, it refers to what? It refers to a current object. It refers to current object. These 2 points you have to understand about this self. Okay, next, what we can do by using this self? By using this self, observe here what we are going to do by using this self. I am going to access instance variables. I am going to access instance variables. Don't worry about these instance variables. Whenever we are going to the concept of instance variable, you can understand. But for now, just think that self is a variable which refers to current object, and it is used to access the instance variables. Okay, right. This is about a self variable where generally self is going to be used. Generally, self is going to be used in constructor, in constructor here. Here I can write self as a first parameter, and here I am going to write some initializations. Next, if you want to write a self, it can also be written inside a method as a first parameter. So self generally written inside a constructor as a first parameter, and also self should be, if we are going to write self inside a method, it should be first parameter inside a compulsory. It has to be there. If you are going to write any method, instance method, compulsory first parameter should be what? Self. But you may get one doubt that is it compulsory to write a self here? Can't I write any other variable instead of self? Yes. Observe that the name of self can be changed. That means what? Generally we will write self only, but if you don't want to write self, now let us say I am going to write some name. Instead of self, you can write anything. But whenever you are going to use the name, compulsory we are before what I have written self dot a. From now what we have to write name dot a. This is very important to understand. So not to make you confused, I will generally use this self dot a only. But I want to tell you one point that the self is the name of the self can be changed. There is no problem. Okay, but whatever the parameter you are going to write as a first parameter to the constructor and to the method, that particular name only should be used to initialize the variables, or it is used to call the instance variables, or it is methods. It may be anything. So compulsory it has to be identified. It should be noted. Okay, so I don't want to make you confused, so that better don't change the name of a self. You keep the name of a first parameter of a constructor, a first parameter of a method as a self only. It is recommended. This is about a self. Now, where we are using this self? We are using this self inside a constructor. Now you can understand clearly about this self if you understand about the concept of constructor. So in the name, what it says, 1 minute, in the name what it says, constructor. That means it is going to do what? It is going to construct. Those who are going to construct, those are called as what? Constructors. Now the concept is what here we are going to construct. One small example I am going to give you. For example, here empty land is there. Okay, a plot is there. I want to construct a building here. Who is going to construct it? A constructor is going to construct it. He is going to see, observe here, he is going to do what? He is going to construct something in a empty land. Okay, here he is going to construct, for example, it is a building, for example. So now in our concept, what constructor is going to do means, so after creating an object to initialize, here some variables are there, for example a, b is there. To initialize these values, to initialize, or we can say to construct an object, we require a constructor. In other words, we can say what? To initialize an object, this is an object. To initialize an object, that means what? To give the values to the variables that are present inside a constructor, I can go for the concept of constructor. To initialize the value of a object, we have to go for the concept of constructor. Whenever you have seen the name called as constructor, first point we have to remember is constructor is used to initialize an object, or initialize the values of an, sorry, initialize the variables of an object. So this point you have to remember. Right, now I will tell you how this constructor should be there. First point is what? it looks like what generally already before coming to this constructor concept, we know about methods and functions we have seen. In the same way, this constructor is looks like same as method. That means what? How it looks like? Def underscore underscore init underscore underscore. In this way, we are going to see in bracket we are going to add at least one parameter, that is self. Okay, right. First point is what we can call constructor is a constructor is a special method. So it looks like a method, but it's a special method. This is the first point you have to understand. Next, so in Java, if you see constructor name is depend on a class name. Constructor name is depend on a class name. Whatever the class name we are having, the same name should be there for that constructor in Java. But this is Python. So here there is no concept of having class names for a constructors. What here we are having means, if you are going to create any constructor, if you want to tell anything as a constructor, compulsory name of that constructor should be underscore underscore init, in bracket at least one parameter should be there. In this way we have to create a constructor in Python. But in Java, in every class we can have a constructor, but the name of constructor is what? Class name only. But here the constructor name is not a class name. Compulsory the name of the constructor should be underscore underscore init underscore underscore, in bracket we are going to write self, at least one parameter. General already I told you I will use only self, I will not change the name of the self. Next, why we are going to use this constructor? To initialize an object, to initialize an object. Otherwise we can say what? To give the values to the object. Okay, or we can say what? To initialize the instance variable of an object, we can say. Next, when this constructor is going to be called, when this constructor is going to be called, for every object creation, whenever we are going to create an object, then for every object creation, constructor will be called. Constructor will be called. This is very important. If you are going to create a constructor, sorry, if you are going to create an object, automatically constructor will be called. No need of calling explicitly like methods or functions. Automatically, whenever you are going to create an object, constructor will be called. Okay, and how many times a constructor can be called? On any object, only once. On any object, constructor will be called only once. Okay, constructor is what? When the constructor is going to be called, constructor will be called up when we are going to create an object. Next, how many times a constructor is going to be called? For every object, constructor will be called only once. Okay, these are the important points we have to understand. So in Java we will see in depth about this creation. There is much to know in Java, but here there is no need of knowing in depth, because nothing will be there here about the constructors, because there the names will be different for every class. Constructor name will be different in every class, but here constructor name is what? Same only. It may be any class, constructor name should be same. Next, every constructor should have at least, already I have discussed this point, should have at least one parameter. Generally we will use self only, mostly, or it is recommended to use that parameter as self only. If you want to have more number of parameters also, we can have. So what is meant by more parameters, I will explain now. Okay, next, you may get some doubt that, sir, is it compulsory to have a constructor in our program? No need, it is not compulsory. Constructor is optional. What is the purpose of constructor? If you want to initialize anything, we have to use the constructor. If you are not going to use any data for a class, then no need of going for this constructor. It is not an compulsory. But what happens means, if you are not going to create any constructor, then default constructor will be created. If you are not going to create a constructor, default constructor will be created by the Python virtual machine. Okay, now for every point I will show you a clear and neat examples. First point is what? Constructor is a special method. Why I am going to say it as a special method means I want to justify that statement, because if you are going to create a method, otherwise function is nothing but a what? If you write a function inside a class, it is called as a method. So it is going to define with the keyword called as def. Here what we are going to write, here the name of the method we are going to write. In the same way, here also I am going to write the constructor here, but the constructor name should be what? Init, and in bracket at least one parameter should be there. I have written this one. So first point is cleared, I think. What is that? A special method. Why I'm calling it a special method? Because it is a special, it looks like a method. I'm calling it as a special method. Next, it name should be what? Underscore underscore init. So I have used underscore underscore init here. Next, initialize an object. So here, if you observe here, what happens when I'm going to create an object here, student? So internally, what happens? An object will be created. See, whenever here student, an object is going to be created here, and it is referred by whom? Yes, it is referred by S. Next, a constructor is going to be called. Who is, when on creating which object we are coming to this constructor? On creating S, we are coming to this constructor. So self is going to act as what? S now. So this self will become act as what? S. This is S, and this is also S. So S dot A means dot operator is used to access the object. So S dot A means S inside S, A equal to 30. S dot B, okay, that means inside S, B is nothing but 30. Here it is 20, sorry. Here it is 20, here it is 30. In this way, the object is going to be created. What is this circular oval? It is nothing but a memory location. I'm going to represent in this way. You can also, but generally memory is not going to have any shape, so that I have written in this way. So this is a memory allocated for an object, and inside that memory we are going to have two variables. So who is going to create these two variables? Constructor is going to create. What are these two variables? Are called as instance variables. Don't worry about these instance variables. I will talk this about after completing the concept of constructors. Okay, right. Now the concept is what is the point I want to discuss here? The point I want to discuss is initialize an object. So values are going to be initialized here. Next, for every object creation, constructor will be called. For every object, constructor is going to be called. Now I want to justify this answer now, this point now. Now see, here I am going to write this one as a S1. Here what? S1. Here I am going to write what? S1. How many objects are there? Only one object is there. Now I want to create two objects. I want to create what? Two objects. Now here I am naming second object name is S2, and here I am going to write what? S2 dot A, and here I am going to write S2 dot B. Now here what happens? Two objects are going to be created. First object name is what? First object name is S1. So here whenever the statement is going to be executed, memory location is going to be created of which type? Student type. So this is student object, which is referred by S1. So S1. Whenever object is created, then what happens? Constructor is going to be called. Why here this constructor is only be called? Because this is which type of object? Student object. So it will go to student object, and it will check for a constructor. What will be the name of a constructor? Underscore underscore init underscore underscore it will be. So here what happens? It is going to be created. Self is going to be what now? S1. Why it is S1? Because on constructing this object is nothing but what? S1 only. On constructing S1, I came here. So self is nothing but S1. So S1 dot A equal to 20. That means S1 dot A. So dot means what? It is accessing. So dot is used for accessing the members. A equal to 20. Next, self dot b, that means what, s1 dot b equal to 30. Now after creating this one, if I call s1 dot a, already it is available, so that it will give me answer as what, 20. s1 dot b, okay, next it is going to give me what, 30. If it is not there, it will insert. If it is there, it will give the value. So initially here what happens, it is not there, so that the values are inserted into this object. Now here what I'm doing, s1 dot a is s1 is a is present in s1, yes, it is there, so it is giving me the value. Next, s1 dot b is available in s1, yes, it is available, so we are going to get output as 30. Okay, anyway, now the concept is here, this statement is completed now. Now observe what I'm printing, s1 dot a, what is there in s1, a and b are there. What I am asking, s1 dot a, this means s1 dot a is nothing but what, the a value that is present in s1. What is that, 20, so it's going to print what here, 20. And s1 dot b, what is the value that is what is the value of b that is present in s1, 30, that will be printed. So up to here, this is the concept that was done. Now s2, here I am creating an object. What happens, an object is created. Which type of object? It is student type of object. So whenever I am going to create an object, the constructor is going to be called which type of constructor? Student only, because it is student type. So it will go to student class and it will check for a constructor. So it is a constructor. And self will be what? So on creating what, I am coming to this constructor on creating s2. So on creating s2, I am coming to this constructor. So self will be what? Self is nothing but s2 now. Self dot a equal to 20. Is there any a here? Not there. So it will insert here. Okay. Next, s2 dot b equal to 30. So b equal to 30. Now here also what I am doing, s2 dot a. What is the a value in s2? 20. So 20 will be printed. And next, s2 dot b. What is the value of b in s2? 30. It will be printed. So in this way, a class has to be created, an object has to be created, a constructor will be called, and the variable will be initialized. And what is the use of self also we have seen till now. Okay, just I will explain this, I will execute this one. What will be the answer? 20, 30, and 20, 30 is going to be our answer now. So 20 and 30 and 20 and 30. What here we have to understand, once only it is executing. So here s1 equals student, so that it is called this constructor once. Next, here what happens, I am going to create second object, so that the same constructor is going to be called. Why the same constructor is going to be called? The reason is, here the object is what, student type, here also object is student type, so that it is calling this one, the second s2 is also calling the same constructor. Okay. Next, for every object creation, constructor will be called. Okay, so here what we have seen, this object constructor is called, this object constructor is called. So what is the output of our program? So two times we got the answer, that is what, 20 and 30. This is for first object, this is for second object. Yes. Next point, only once, for every object it will execute only once, should have at least one parameter. Let us remove this one now, let us remove this one, and I will execute here. So see, clearly it takes, it is telling what, init takes 0 positional argument, but one was given. Okay, init takes 0 positional argument, but one was given. Okay, so what we have to understand here, at least one has to be given here, compulsory one should be there here. Now here I am going to self, now it works fine here. So see, there is no problem. Now next concept is what, next point is what, optional. What is optional? Constructor is optional. So if I'm not going to get any constructor, what happens? I will show you. So before going to that, I will change the name of this self. Just I will write, instead of self, I'm going to write name. So instead of here also what I have to write? I have to write name. Instead of this one also I have to write what? Name only. So now there is no problem. We are going to get output as it is. Okay, right. Now I will remove this constructor. Okay. So already I told you what, without the constructor also a method can be there. Sorry, a class can be there. Just here I'm going to write one method, and here I'm going to write print hi. Just I'm going to write print hi. I'm going to write here. Now observe here, class is completed. Okay. Now I will execute this one. What happens? Nothing is executed because this is a class. It is having some properties. If I want to use that one, if I want to use this method, what I have to do? I have to create an object so that s equal to student I am going to write. So generally class names will start with capital letters so that I am also using the capital letters only. So s equal to student. Now what? S dot hi. That means S is an object which can access the member. S can access what? Members of this class. So I'm calling what? S dot hi. So now observe here. 1 minute. Here also one point I have to discuss. For methods also what we have to write? At least one parameter should be written here. So what is the output we got? Hi we got. So here what is the thing I want to show you is here I have not used a constructor. It is an optional. It is not compulsory. If it is an optional, what happens internally? A default constructor is going to be executed. Okay. Right. Next, last point. Let us see about the constructor. So there is nothing but default constructor is going to be executed. Now, here already you have observed one thing. If I am going to write 1 minute. See here, if I am going to write this particular program, or in this way, if I am going to write a constructor, what is the disadvantage here? Here, what is the disadvantage is? So first object is created, and here the value is a equal to 20, b equal to 30. The name of this one is s1. Next, second object is created. The name of the variables are a equal to 20, b equal to 30. If I create third object also, what happens? A equal to 20, b equal to 30. If all the values are same, then what is the need of creating a multiple objects? Is it necessary? No. So generally what happens? There is one person, he want to read, he want to read, he want to read, he want to read. Three persons are there. Everyone want to do what? Everyone want to read the book. But here there is only one book called as Python book. Then the student has to read what? Python. It has to be. This person has to do what? Python. This person also has to do what? Python. Reason is what? There is only one book it is available. But the intention of this person is he want to read Java textbook. He want to read Python textbook. He want to read R programming textbook. Okay. But what happens? As there is only one book, they are reading only Python. The person who wants to read Java also, he is reading Python. The person who wants Python, he is reading Python. There is no problem here. But the person who wants R programming also reading Python. For this purpose, what I have to do? Whatever the book he want, if I provide to him, he can read that book. Whatever the book that he wants, if I provide, he can read only that book. That means S1 wants A value as 20, B value is 30, and S2 wants A value as 30 and B value as 40. Then who has to provide it? Then S2 has to provide those values. And S3 wants some 60 and 70. Then it has to provide those values. That means here, did I pass any values to this constructor? I have not passed. Passing is nothing but what? While creating an object, I have to pass the values to here. If I need my own values. If you are not going to pass any values to here, then what happens? By default, A value will be 20, B value will be 30. Sir, I want, S1 is telling that, sir, I want A equal to 30, B equal to 40. Okay, no problem. S2 is telling I want A value as 60 and B value as 95. So no problem. That means what? Here, for every object, it requires what? Different arguments, different values it needs for A and B. But here if I execute this example for 100 objects of student class, what happens? 100 objects will be created. But what happens? But A value, B value, A value, B value, A value, B value in all the objects will be what? Same. Now the thing is, if you want to create an object of student type, for every object, the data should be different. If I execute same program 3 or 4 times, see, observe here, the same thing I will write once again here, but I will change the name here S3. Then here also I'm writing S3. Here also I'm writing S3. Now observe here, I'm executing 3 times. It is going to print what? 20 and 30 only. For every object, the A and B value are not going to be changed. But if you want to change that, what you have to do? I have to pass parameters here. Okay, those parameters, for example, A value, for example, B value. So now what happens whenever an object is created, compulsory what is the values that S1 wants? 10 and 20, for example. Next, for this S2 30 comma 40. Next, for S3 50 comma 60. Now what happens? Observe, whenever S1 is going, this object is going to be created. While creating, what happens? It will go to this constructor. How many parameters it is having? 2 parameters it is having. So that it has to go to this. First parameter is what? 10. It has to go to this A. This has to go to B. Self means what? Who is calling? So on creating which object we came to this constructor? On creating S1 we came to this constructor. So that self is nothing but what now? S1, and A will be 10 and B will be 20. Sorry, B will be what? 20. Now here what I would write? Here what I would write? A and B. Now observe carefully here. What will be the output of this program? I will explain now. So first, here this is going to be executed. So object is created and it is referred by S1. What are the values passed here? 10, 20. In A, what is it? 10. So self dot A is nothing but what? S1 dot A equal to A. A is nothing but 20. Next, here what happens? Here B value is what? 20. Self dot B. This is nothing but B. Self dot B is nothing but, in this way it is going to create. Next, that B value is what? 20. Completed. Up to here it is completed. And I want to print that. So what is the output of this one? Sorry, here 10. This is 10 and this is 20. Anyway, output is what? 10 and 20. Next, S2 object is created and it is referred by S2. Now 30 and 40 are passed to A and B. Now A value is what? 30. B value is what? 40. So A value is what? 30. So A value is 30 here. Self dot A means what? Now self is what? S2. S2 dot A equal to 30. Next, B value is what? 40. S2 dot B equal to 40. So here B equal to 40. In the same way, third object is also going to be created. A value is 50. B value is 60. So if I print these values, we are going to get 10 and 20, 30 and 40, 50 and 60 we are going to get. Now let us observe whether we are going to get correct output or not. So now observe what is the answer? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and 60. Here, what is the difference between first program and this program? That is, in first program, that means if you are not going to, I have not taken any parameters here or any arguments here, so that whatever the content, whatever the initializations I have done in that constructor will be same for every object. There I have not passed these constructors. Okay, but now if any particular, if for every object, if the data want to be different, then what I have to do? I have to create a parameterized constructor. When I call it as a parameterized constructor, if it is having the parameters, if a constructor is having more number of parameters except self, I'm not talking about self. Self is compulsory. Other than self, if there is any parameters, it is called as a parameterized constructor. So this is about a constructor and parameterized constructor. We have seen about self and how the init, that is nothing but constructor, is going to be called, and what should be the name of the constructor, and when the constructor is going to be called, and how many times a constructor is going to be called for an object. Okay, all these points was covered. Now you may think that in your mind, so here as method and what we can say constructor looks like same. Is there any difference? So here let us consider definition M1. Here I am writing print. Here self will be there. Sorry, here self will be there. Print of hi I am going to write. In the same way, here I am going to what? I am having what? Constructor. In it I am having. In this I am having some self. Now I want to differentiate between a method and a constructor, because I told you what a constructor is a special method. That means it is also a type of a method, but it is called as what? Constructor, because it is the purpose of that particular special method is what? For initializing the values for an object. So I am calling this type of method as a constructor because it is used for a constructor. Okay. So now let us see the differences here. So here, what can be the name of the method? It may be M1, it may be M2, or it may be anything. So first point is what? Name can be anything. Name can be anything, or we can say you can write any name for the methods. There is no problem. Next, what about your constructor? Compulsory. The name of a constructor should be underscore underscore init underscore underscore only. Okay. Next, when this method is going to be executed, whenever someone is going to be called, already in before example I have shown you, whenever I have written m1 s dot m1 I have to call. So when I call this one only, what happens? That method is going to be executed. For this I will show you one small example. So observe this here. Here what happened? There is no method, just I will create a method here. So define hi method I am going to write. Inside this we should have some self, and here just I am going to print one statement, and here I am going to call a hi. I don't want these many objects here, just I want to demonstrate about the differences, so that I am taking only one object. Now observe. So if I execute this program, what will be the output of my program? Only 10 and 20. Reason is, who called this constructor? I am not calling externally. Is there anything called as s1 dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore? No, I am not calling it as an explicitly. But by default, whenever an object is created, at that time constructor is going to be called. What about this hi method? Did it executed now? No, it is not executed. The reason is what? It has to be called externally, separately. That is, now if I want to execute that one, just so anyway, just I will change the name, you may confuse. So m1 I will write. So how I have to call? m1 dot hi. Why I have to call in this way? Reason is, now see here, if you are going to consider this statement what happens means s1 will be created, and inside that one initialization what happened? A equal to 10 will be there, b equal to 20 will be created, and in this class one we are having m1 also. So m1 will be also created here. Okay, with the definition. So if I print s1 dot a and s1 dot b, it is going to execute. And 1 minute, here what I have tried, the method name is m1, sorry, method name is m1, object name is what? s1. Okay, so in s1, is there any m1? Yes, it is there, so that I can call m1 by using s1. Then s1 is going to execute what? m1 method. So to execute the method, I have to do what? I have to call separately. Now compulsory, the method, when the method is going to be executed, if we call that method only, it will be executed. But what about constructor? By default, for every object, a constructor is going to be called. Now observe the output of this program. So see, now what happens? Hi is printed because I have called it by using the object. But what about this constructor? It is not compulsory. It is not required. By default, it is going to be called. Next, third point, let us see what is the difference between this method and constructor. Third point is, for every object, method can be called any number of times. For any object, method can call any number of times. Very important point, any number of times. But for any object, this is third point, I think. Already second point we have completed. There is nothing but what we have to call. We have to call. Here automatically, for every object it will be called automatically. Now next point is what? Third point, for any object method can call any number of times. But here what? For any object, constructor, for any object, constructor will be called only once. Only once. Now observe that here already. So when this will be called, whenever object is created, at that time only it is going to be called. But see here, s1.m1 I am calling second time. Okay, there is no problem. s1.m1 third time I am going to call. Let us see, will there be any problem or not? So see, there is no problem. But if you try to create the object same name with the same name, for example, s1 equal to, so when the constructor is going to be called, whenever we are going to create an object only, at that time only it is going to be called. So I thought I want to call constructor 2 times on same object. Then observe what happens. Then it is going to execute how many times? It is going to execute only once. I have done what? 2 times. First this is called and it is not shown. Okay, here it is not going to be called. In this statement it is going to be called. If you take once again, there is no problem. See, there is no problem. Now what happens? It is going to be called only once. Okay, for every object it is going to call only once. 1 minute. Here I will write 40 and here I will write 50. Now observe here, what is this object? Here object means don't see the names. I don't want to show you the names. I may confuse you, but anyway, once again I will repeat. So this is an object, this is one object, this is one object, this is one object. But it is referring by what? S1 only. So don't confuse with the names. So first what I am calling, this is one object. When I am creating this object, constructor will be called. This is one more object. First S1 is pointing to this one. Now S1 is pointing to this one now in second statement. But this is different object. Next, this is what? This is third object which is pointing by same thing. Now it is pointing to this one. This will be removed. So don't worry about this concept. We will see in detail. Anyway, on creation of this one, it will be called. On creation of this one, it will be called. On creation of this one, it will be called. How many objects are there? 3 objects. How many times this will be called? Once. Sorry, 3 times. Reason is what? This is separate object. This is separate object. This is separate object. So to make you clear, just I will write a print statements for every object creation. Just I will remove this one. I don't want this one. Now observe this one. Here I am going to write what? After creating this one, I am printing. After this one also I want to print something. Now observe, on creating of this object, we have to talk about this one, not s1. S1 is just a reference variable. Okay, first object, so it will be called and it will be printed 10 and 20. Second object, it will be called and it will be printed. Third object, it will be called and it will be printed. Okay, here there are 3 objects, not one object. So what is meant by one object means, this is one object. See here, this is one object which is pointing by s1. If we talk about object, we have to talk about only this one. If I want to call or if we want to use this object, I have to call with a name. Okay, this is the concept. So how many times it is going to be called? Only once. Next, last point. Generally, what we are going to write inside a methods, generally we are going to write some logic or some logic. Let us consider, if you are going to write a method called as add here. Inside this, generally what we are going to write here, self I am going to write here, what I am going to write about the logic. That is what, how addition is going to be performed, I am going to write. But what is the need of this init method? Why we are going to write this one? To declare and initialize the variables. So to declare and initialize the variables. Sir, we are having 3 variables. Which variables it is going to declare and initialize? It is going to write what? Sorry, it is going to declare and initialize instance variables only. So don't confuse now. Just you think up to now only variables. Okay. So what is the use of this constructor? It is used for declaring and initializing the variables. Which variables? Instance variables. So these are the differences between constructors and methods. In next session, we will start the concept of types of variables and types of methods. We are going to see in next session. Okay, thank you.